Welcome to Mindshift Monday. My name is Matt with Megan. Megan, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. It's been a while.
I know. Long time no see.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like over a month already, which is craziness. Things have
You
been,
were vacationing.
I was, yeah, 2 of the 5 weeks I was vacationing, or even maybe more than that. So that's pretty wicked. June is generally a vacation month for me. Do you guys have any vacations coming up? I
You
forget if
have
you had, yeah.
some, yeah, we have
Wicked.
some planned at the end of July.
Wicked.
I go home for a week and then hopefully I'll have another like week-ish or 5 days just to like chill here and not do much. I usually like to balance it like that, like have some away time, but then just have some at home chill time.
Yeah, the old staycation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Always good to do. Just enjoy your house and enjoy being, right?
yeah.
Excellent. Okay. The theme for today's Mind Shift Monday is we were kind of talking about this earlier. I was wanting to do the difference between an ordeal and an adventure. And my suggestion being, that it's entirely your choice. It's kind of what you'd brought up at one point about, like, I think Mel Robbins had mentioned the difference between fear and excitement. They show up the same way in your
Yeah.
body. It's all how you process it in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I guess what is your take on, if life gives you something and you either have the sort of the glass half full or glass half empty? Is it an adventure or an ordeal? What would you say to that? What does that trigger or incite in you?
Yeah, well, I think you like kind of already nailed it in terms of it's how you're like perceiving the situation or how you're choosing to kind of look through the looking glass. Like, are you seeing
Mm,
this as a problem or as an opportunity? And I'm always trying, trying to be really mindful of the things that I see in life as problems, especially those things in life that are like really a blessing. So like for me, I have lots of things going on all the time. I'm a mom and I work full time and I have stepkids and like things are busy. And so I could choose to see some of those things as like a huge ordeal, the driving to the different sports events or the fact that we're having vacations coming up that we're trying to like plan around and how are we going to get there, and that could be seen as a problem, right? Instead I choose
mm,
to see it as like an opportunity to change the our routine, change the way I go with the flow, change my expectations. And so in terms of like seeing it through a positive or a negative lens, I think that's really what we're getting at the root of. Hey.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I like your examples. I two questions that come to mind when I'm listening to you. First off, was that something that came by naturally? Was that something if you had to practice? And
Yeah.
and second question, how much does your emotions that you sort of wake up with play into being able to switch gears like that?
Mm. Yeah, so it's absolutely something that I've had to practice, especially like once I entered into motherhood, because there's so many variables all the times, right? And so I historically used to get really overwhelmed by just like multiple moving parts
Mm,
and
mhm.
having a bit of like chaos in life. Whereas now I try to be present in the moment of chaos and remind myself that like this is a huge blessing in terms of like I'll
Mm.
just go back to our weekend. Like we were potty training on the weekend. Chaos in itself, right? Could definitely be seen as like an
Yeah.
ordeal or a moment of stress.
Mm,
And then I just stepped back and sort of like looked at like my two amazing, beautiful children that I have and reminded myself like how long I've actually waited for this moment. Like years, I've wanted to be a mom my whole life. And it
mm,
just like instantly shifted me. And I just felt the anxiety like literally lower like a thermometer going down in my body. And I just released all like the frustration and a little bit of resentment that I had around the whole
mm.
situation. And in terms of how I wake up in the morning, do you just mean like if I wake up in a good mood or a bad mood?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or, if you're on the wrong side of the bed,
Yeah.
what's sort of tips or how much does that affect, your ability to reframe like that?
Yeah. And so again, like, I really am a big believer in, like, good mood, bad mood, waking up on the wrong or the right side of the bed is, like, a choice,
Mm,
and I also try to be really mindful of the way that I speak about myself, particularly in the mornings, because historically, again, I've never been much of a morning person. I've always been someone that loved to sleep. I
mm,
have very little of that right now, so I try not to spend the day being like, "I'm so tired. I'm so tired," because I can feel that affect my mood. So in terms of the way that I choose to see a situation, again, I think it really goes back to a choice. Like, what type of
mm.
outcome do I want in this situation?
Right. Yeah,
Typically, I
absolutely.
always want it to be a positive outcome. So how am I going to get there? Well, to choose to see it as an opportunity or an adventure and not an ordeal
Yeah.
or a problem.
Love it. Yeah, for sure. It's really good for me, like when as we're doing this episode, my contribution to it that I want to bring up is like it's just the power of words, right? It's like it's entirely so you can it's amazing how you can change your mindset or you shift your mind with some words, like with a set of words,
Mhm,
right? It's for me an ordeal or if something comes up on the calendar that's like that incites that feeling of frustration or anxiety or like you think it's an ordeal, it's accompanied by like pressure language, like, oh, I have to do this. There's like this
mhm,
strange like resentment or obligation that gets attached to it, and then there's that the negative energy right off the get-go, whereas versus
mhm,
if you just go like you say, if the opposite of that for me would be the yin to the yang, would be the great being grateful for, like, yeah, like you said, in real time is going, hey, I've always wanted to be a mom and this is one of these moments. And
mhm,
immediately like you said, the thermometer thing, it just like everything else drops off. If you can if you can reframe it, if you choose your words differently, it'll it'll just shift if you remove yourself from pressure language to that of like gratitude, how
mhm,
quickly it can change. So I
mhm.
want to just mention the power of words, basically. Other than that, you covered it all. So
Yeah, and, like, I'm again, like, a firm believer that resentment and choice, like, cannot coexist. If you are
mm,
authentically choosing something, because you want to do it, there is no room for resentment.
right.
So when
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm like, just the other day, I think it was like last Friday, I was going to wash my floors. It like felt instant resentment, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I just kind of stopped. I was gonna go grab the steam mop, and I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? And I'm like, well, because my floors are nasty. And I was like, yeah, but do I actually want to wash my floors right now? And I was like, no, I don't. And I like literally
Mm,
just like put the mop like back onto the
very nice.
wall, and I
Yeah.
just like walked away from it.
Boom.
Yesterday, I washed my floors, and I
Mm,
was like, "Why am I doing this?" Well, because I authentically wanna do it, and I even remembered saying to myself, like, "I actually feel really good right now, like, I have a bit of energy, I don't really actually feel tired,"
yeah.
and I wanted to wash my floors, I was choosing it, and I was not
Mm,
pissed about it at all,
there you
and
go.
then it was done, and I, like, looked back on my work, and I was like, "Those some clean floors," and
That's, yeah,
felt
yeah.
felt really good about it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. And that's it. Yeah. And that's worth mentioning too. Sometimes you just got to take a pause. And it's something that we've both talked about on these programs before. Is like, yeah, no, I love that. Just you just sometimes you just need to come back with a fresh perspective on it. And then you won't feel that resentment. And you can look back and, man, I've been so guilty of numerous times forcing something because I believe that I need to get this finished at a certain timeline,
Yeah.
and it's just 99% of the time it's untrue, it's arbitrary, it's like, again, this pressure that I'm putting on myself for the situation that
Mhm.
really doesn't need to be there and is not serving me or any of my relationships any better than if I just paused. And that's something I'm practicing and getting a lot better at now, for sure. But yeah, I love it. Good stuff.
Is that it for today?
I think so. We still have the gauntlet to go through. Is there anything else you want to cover
The
on my shift?
gauntlet.
Yeah, I call
No,
it the
I think that's
gauntlet.
a great point to, like,
Very
end
good.
on, right? Yeah.
Beauty. That would have been funny if I just like we didn't have any sign off. I just pressed stop and we
You're like,
just both like
"Oh."
yeah, smiling
Like,
into the
"Okay,
camera.
see ya."
All right, Mind Shift Monday. We'll see you tomorrow for Toast Master Tuesday.